When I look at old pictures, I look at it and I just look and say, no, I wasn't that big, was I?
You have a misconception about yourself.
You kind of make yourself believe you're okay, and you're really not okay. When I was heavy, I was embarrassed when I went shopping. Actually, it made me really feel hurt.
Most of the time, I would rather stay in the background.
You always find an excuse for your weight.
I'm big, but I'm healthy, so I'm okay.
I wasn't just heavy, I was morbidly obese.
It affects your family, your wife, your kids.
It's embarrassing.
Depressing.
A bunch of lies.
Just a lie.
It's not a pretty picture.
Ashamed. It's huge.
Disappointing.
Overweight.
Painful.
Guilty.
Depressing.
Lazy.
Obese.
Team Bariatics helped me get my life back, and in some ways it's even better.
It wasn't ever a real comfortable feeling being the biggest kid in class.
Even as a child, he was overweight. And when you go back even into his elementary years, he was a pretty big kid.
You know everybody's looking at you. You know everybody's, pointing fingers behind your back, or they're whispering behind your back.
Before he had the surgery, he never got out a lot. He just always stayed inside.
I've always had the fear that he wouldn't be around later for our children.
You feel scared of what the future might hold, or inevitably what the future might not hold for you.
It is very scary, but it's real. How many obese guys do you see that live for a very long time?
I've struggled with my weight my entire life. I cannot believe how big I let myself get. I tried exercising, I tried eating right.
She was very heavy, over 300 pounds. She felt very helpless with the way she was. She just didn't feel like she could do much about it.
Most of the time it was just buy what would fit and take it home and just deal with it. At my largest, I was a 30, pushing a 32. 10 years from now, if I wouldn't have had the surgery, I would probably be 400 pounds. I wouldn't be able to enjoy my children, and I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that.
When I was younger, I was fairly thin, very athletic. I loved being sports. I loved any kind of physical activity.
Kathy was always an athlete, and when I met her in college, she had always been involved in sports and cheerleading. And it was when we had started having children that she gained weight.
As I got pregnant with my first one, I put on weight. Maybe not a lot, but I started putting it on, and I didn't take it off. My weight just kept ballooning up and ballooning up and ballooning up. Being a mom of 4 kids, you didn't necessarily cook the healthiest foods. You had little kids, you made hot dogs, hamburgers, easy food. I tried several different types of diets. Weight Watchers, anything, that where they gave you portions.
She tried to exercise. We joined a health club. We walked, we worked out, we were on the cross-training machines, the treadmills, and she couldn't lose weight.
I tried diet pills even. I went to that extreme and tried some of that. Of course, all that did is make you hyper, and they don't work.
When Kathy was heavier, some of the larger sizes is all she could wear.
I went into a store that didn't necessarily carry larger size women's clothing, and you could tell that they kind of looked at me like, why are you in here? I was judged by the way I looked. And I think that really hurt because I don't do that to other people.
I couldn't even buckle the seatbelt around me. It didn't even fit.
Traveling isn't the same when you're obese. It's totally different. Getting on the plane, not a problem. Getting towards your seat, not too much of a problem. Getting in your seat becomes a problem. Buckling in becomes a major problem.
I went from all the way over to the door to hanging over here, and my stomach would, press all the way up against the steering wheel.
Just bending over and tying your shoes, sometimes you're just like, oh my gosh, do I really have to do that?
Anybody who is overweight tells themselves continually that they're not that bad off, when in all actuality, you are.
The team consists of your surgeon, the nurse practitioner,
The receptionist,
the dietitian,
The nutritionist,
nurses that take your measurements,
personal trainers,
and the doctors, insurance specialists. Everybody knows who you are.
and you have yourself because you're part of that team also.
everybody at Team Bariatrics, from the nurse practitioner to the surgeon, just even the girl at the front desk. I mean, everybody was concerned about me.
They were there through the entire process from my first appointment to my 2-year checkup appointment.
Everything I needed to take off the weight and keep it off was right there.
The main difference between Team Bariatrics and anywhere else I ever went was the personal family feeling that you get from the moment you walked in the doors. They want to focus on you as a complete person, not just as a patient.
At Team Bariatrics, you're not just a patient. They're like a family to you.
The morning of my surgery, they were rolling me down. I was like, hey everybody, I'm here to have my surgery. And there was like 15 to 20 nurses. There was a whole bunch of doctors. There were so many people there. I was so comfortable, it wasn't even funny.
The week before I went in to have the surgery, went and got a really good scale so you could see your pounds coming off and all that kind of thing.
I knew that was going to be the very first day of the next part of my life.
Immediately following the surgery, you're somewhat limited on what you can eat, just because your body's healing and getting over the surgery. Within just a real short time, you're working with the dietitian and working yourself back into eating somewhat, regular, normal foods.
I will not forget being able to go back to that restaurant and getting to take that first bite of something that I absolutely loved, that I thought I would have to give up.
When I would step on a scale and look down and say, oh my gosh, I'm in the 300s now.
It's working. This whole process is working after years and years of trying.
And then I'm in the 200s, and then it's like, I'm under 250, I'm under 220. I'm at 200 pounds. I weigh 200 pounds now.
You're like going, whoa, 10 pounds, that's pretty cool.
You love getting on the scale. You actually go out and you buy a scale for your own house to see what your weight loss is.
When she lost the weight, I mean, her clothes changed, her whole opinion of her life changed. She's a more vibrant Amy. She's more confident. She's, in control of her life now.
She doesn't get winded and she doesn't get tired. We can come out and do this kind of stuff with her now and like play football, play basketball.
My husband has been with me through thick and thin. He loved me when I was 315 pounds. He saw what was inside me. I love the fact that my husband can pick me up, and I absolutely love it. It makes me feel extremely feminine.
He likes to bring the boys out on a nice day and play in the park and, throw the football around, throw the baseball around. And they're loving having a brand new dad.
I've seen him change in how active he is. He's outside, like playing with me and him.
Ready, set, go! My wife has told me, numerous times now after I've had the surgery that she'll walk past me in church or she'll walk past me at an event or something and will not even recognize me. Sometimes she'll have to look at our sons and say, hey, boys, where's Dad at? Where's he at?
Since his surgery, I find my husband a lot more attractive, and I tease him a lot about being so cute, and he gets embarrassed easily, so I try not to do it too much.
I think Dad weighs like only 90-some pounds.
92.4.
Whatever.
My oldest son came to me and put his arms around me and hugged me and said, Dad, my hands touch behind you now. I don't think that ever happened before.
One of the surprises I gave Kathy last year for anniversary was a new yellow convertible car.
I had always been talking about getting a little sports car someday. I don't know if that was a midlife crisis thing or whatever, but I've always wanted one. And I would have never fit in this car if I'd have been at my 280 pounds. It's a freedom that I can't even express. To be able to actually drive it around and have fun in it is it's the icing on the cake for me.
Kathy looks really cute in her sports car. She puts on her little hat with all the bling on it, her sunglasses, puts the top down, puts the music on, and drives to work. She just loves her new life.
The best thing that came out of this for me, if I look at the whole big picture, I believe that I've prolonged my life and I'm going to get to enjoy my grandchildren. I believe this is the best decision that I've ever made.
Once I dreaded shopping because I couldn't find my size.
Once I felt totally hopeless.
I couldn't even buckle the seatbelt around me.
Once,
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 but never again.
never again.
but never again.